Is your team ready to soar to new heights? At CTL Africa Leadership, we specialize in transforming potential into performance. Whether it's mastering winning with people, enhancing emotional intelligence, decoding human behavior, or strengthening team leadership, we've got you covered. Dive into personal leadership and elevate your corporate governance standards. Our tailor-made programs are designed to unlock your team's full potential. Don't settle for ordinary. Be extraordinary. Book a discovery call with CTL Africa today, and let's design a development program that transforms your team. Visit our website www.ctlafricaleadership.com.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us. This is the Leadership Platform, and we come to you again with another episode. Today, we have the episode that we call Time with the CEO. So let me see in the chat those who are joining us. Give us put in the chat where you are joining us from, your name, because we want to announce you to the world. My name is Sarah Jessie Apia, and I am joining you from Geneva, Switzerland. Definitely, my team are also here with me, Uncle Sam in Ghana, as well as Joy and Priscilla and Hawa and all the other members of the team who put this program together. I can't see anyone who has announced him or herself in the chat, so please keep it coming. Today we have very honorable and knowledgeable, as well as an interesting person who has walked the leadership journey from through the ranks up to where she is now. Her name, as you will all have seen from the announcement, is Lizzy-Ann. Lizzy-Ann, would you join me on the call, and we'll have a little chat before we start going into your story as how you have navigated your journey up till now. So welcome to the Leadership Platform. And as some of you will know, this is not her first time. I believe this is your second time or even third time with us. Right?
Okay.
Okay, welcome. And it's great to have you again.
Thank you so much, Coach Sarah. Thank you for having me, and good evening to your audience.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Lizzy-Ann says hi, and look at how she's looking so beautiful and elegant. I don't know how she does it, but she's going to share that with us. Okay, so Lizzy, as you are smiling and waiting, we have a few people who have joined us. Felix Boni from Ghana, and we have a Facebook user who says, welcome everyone, happy to be here with the CEO. So they are happy to see you on the call today. Right,
Awesome.
So Lizzy, tell us a little bit about who Lizzy is. What nationality? Just that, not two more. As a mother, how many children do you have for us to get to know you?
Interesting. Thank you once again, Coach Sarah. I'm Lizzy-Ann Kwagbedzi. I'm a full West African. Yeah, I was born in Sierra Leone. I have a Ghanaian descent. My dad's background is from the north, Jamboy, and I'm married to I'm a Voltarian, an associate Voltarian by
Oh,
virtue of my marriage, and I have 3 kids.
wow. Wow. And apart from being a wife and a mom, you are also the deputy CEO of Gamby and Gamby. So, how did you come to Gamby and Gamby? Just give us a little bit of your journey.
Thank you, Coach Sarah. In 2015, 16, I was going through a transition in my life, and I had started law with the University of London, but then I had some life encounters. Life happened, and I had to pause and had some reflections. Where do I really want to be? Do I really want to pursue law, or I want to move on to something? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of reflection,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a coach, my coach. Every
Mm-hmm.
leader needs a coach. So during that period of transition, I had a deep conversation with my coach, and we went through a lot. And he was like, why do you want to do law? I started asking myself deep questions, because growing up, I always want to be a lawyer. And then I'm like, I want to represent people. I want to be in a place where I can add value to the lives of people and all that. Then he was like, what other options do you have? Then ADR came into play. So quickly, I realized I have a passion for helping people resolve disputes. Then
Mm-hmm.
I online started searching, what program can I do? Then I bumped, one day I was at work, and then I was working with DPS International as a public relations person. And I saw this advert from Gamey and Gamey Group. That was like, wow. I looked at the course content. This is everything I would love to see myself doing. Quickly, I enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
2 months into the program, it's a masterclass program on appropriate dispute resolution. 2 months into the program, I realized that my life was taking a transformational journey. So instead of me just acquiring knowledge for myself and see how I can use it to make money, I realized that the program was having an effect on me, my person. That
Mm-hmm.
was where I had a breakthrough. So when I completed the program, I'm like, no, I need to work here, not for money, but whatever I have encountered, the knowledge I've encountered, the experiences I've had is life transforming, and I would like to grow in it. So I called Mr. Gamey and told him, I want to see you. I went to his office and I'm like, I want to work with you. Then I was earning very okay. But then I
Mm-hmm.
told him, he said, oh, we don't have space for anybody. I'm like, sir, you don't need to pay me. I just want to serve. So I
Wow.
think that kind of broke him. So it took him 3 months to get back to me and say, are you still interested in serving? And I'm like, yes, sir. He said, okay, come and let's have a conversation. That's how come I found myself in Gammy and Gammy.
Wow, that is an interesting story. I mean, so you were doing it for pro bono, you just wanted to serve, right? You just wanted to serve. Great. So, as you're speaking, I can see you've talked about transformation. You started because that was where you wanted to go, your life journey, but it had an impact on you personally. So, the transformation started with you, right? And out of that came out the strong value of you really serving. But before then, take us a little bit back before we come to Gami and Gami. You were a public relations officer. Where did you start your career from before you got to Gami and Gami? Because looking at your CV out here, you are seven on so many boards as well as in Gamey and Gamey. Give us a little bit tour about that. I didn't want to read it out. I wanted you to share that with us. And then we'll
So
come to Gamey.
I started my career as a journalist at the
Uh-huh.
age of 15
Tell me more.
in Sierra Leone. Yes, I started as a journalist at the age of 15 in Sierra Leone. I was a radio talk show host for student media, that's the Sierra Leone National Broadcasting Service.
Mm-hmm.
So it was international students, is it student International Students Day? There's an international day. And then I was in SHS 3, that's Form 6.
Uh-huh.
And they wanted reps from different schools to come and sit on air and talk about student issues. So we went for the auditioning, and they were like, do a voiceover. So I did a voiceover. I was very timid. I was the youngest in my class, so shy. And they were like, we want the lady to also go and try. My gut was shaking inside. So
Okay.
I went in, and the manager came out and he was like, you are good. We want you to host the program. So we had the first program at the D-Day. And then by the end of the day, the general manager for the radio station came out and said, look, we like you. We would like this to run. We're going to speak to your school, engage your parents. We want you to run this program on Fridays and Saturdays. So I started off at the age of 15, Fridays from 4 to 6. It was 2 hours. And then Saturdays in the afternoon. So that was where I started off. Then we moved to Ghana. My dad moved back to his homeland. And then I was going to law again. But because of my age, when I applied, they were like, I was too young. I needed to hit 17. I completed school very early. So I had a 2 years period. What would I be doing by then? That was when my parents advised that, why don't you go back to journalism? Because that's what you've been doing for a couple of years now. So I went to Africa University College of Communication. Then it was African Institute of Communication Studies, AIJC.
Mm-hmm.
So I did communication studies, public relations, worked with Ghanaian Times, worked with a few other media houses. And then after marriage, I had to stay home for like 5 years. So after the 5 years, I had to jump again into pro bono services, worked with a few institutions just to keep myself busy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got the appointment with DPS as a public relations person before transitioning to Gamey and Gamey. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So it's very interesting. I mean, if we have viewers on the call who did take a career break, which is exactly what you did, what advice or what lessons would you like to share with them? For 5 years, you were on a career break. How was that?
Coach Sarah, you know my story.
But share that
It's not
with us.
fun. It's not fun, especially when you are ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, it wasn't more of position or certificate. For me, even when I was quite young, it was more of impact. How much impact can I make? How can I be a blessing? How
Mm-hmm.
can I help both
Mm-hmm.
myself, family, and others? So after marriage, kids started coming. It was a tough season in my life because it felt like all my colleagues were on TV, then top journalists, Radio Joy, TV3, and Metro, and all the rest. And every evening I have to sit home with my kids and be watching my friends on TV. It was not an enjoyable moment. But then I have, by the grace of God, a very reflective lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So during those periods, initially it was very tough because I used to always feel bad. What's happening with my life? Where have I gotten myself? Then one day I had an encounter with me again. And that was another breaking point where I started looking at the joys, at the blessing, the kids, the opportunity to marry and even have kids and sit and watch them grow. So that became a turning point from me feeling bad and dwelling in not being satisfied with my life or finding myself in the path I would have loved, to waking up every day and being appreciative of where I find myself for that season, trusting to see when I'll get my next break to move on.
Okay, wonderful. So, as women leaders, we do have different phases in our lives, as you have just
Exactly.
shared with us. And the lesson that you are sharing with us is the fact that in whatever season that we find ourselves, being grateful and looking at the blessings and the lessons really helps. Okay,
Exactly. Enjoying the moment.
and enjoy the moment. I love that. Enjoy the moment. So, ladies, if you're on the call and you're on a career break, this is what Lizzy-Ann is sharing with us. Enjoy the moment, look at the blessing and the lessons. Okay, now you are the deputy of Gamey and Gamey. You went there to serve. Now you are the deputy CEO. What is it like? What is the leadership like? What are some of the principles that you are really putting into place as you lead your people? How many people are in Gamey and Gamey? Just give us a little background as what Gamey and Gamey does, and then how you are leading in that space.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Coach Sarah. So, like you said, I still work with Gami and Gami Group in the capacity of a deputy CEO.
Mhm,
It's not been a short journey getting there because I started off from a nobody where we had so many high level consultants. We have over 30 something workers in Gami and Gami. We are into conflict resolution, human resource management, ADR and corporate trainings,
mhm,
and representations, client representations. So, what has my leadership journey been like? It's been growing, and I'm still growing. One of my biggest inspiration is my CEO, who saw that something in me that I never saw. For me, I was just this young lady who wanted to learn more. I wasn't really interested in becoming anybody, but I was interested in learning more, adding more value, serving more. And that was what brought me there. And during my work life, at every stage of my work, I look out for what kind of knowledge, skill, or competency do I need at this stage. So throughout my work life in Gami and Gami and up till now, I'm still learning. Every year, I look out in the area of our services. What added knowledge do I need to serve more? What additional knowledge do I need to serve more? And knowing that you are serving with people. So it's not about the position, it's about the role for me. What capacity is expected? What kind of behavior is expected? What kind of mindset do I bring to bear in the discharge of my duty, in serving together with my team? So, those are some of the things. And one thing my boss taught me, which I have deeply imbibed in me, not just for work, but even in church and with family and friends. I don't just consult for Gami and Gami. Now I'm a full chartered consultant. I consult for other allied firms, including Barca Africa. He always used to refer to me as my colleague. Even
wow.
our driver, he refers to the driver as my colleague worker. That kind of brought a different mindset to me and affected my behavior altogether. So if the driver is a colleague and a junior worker is a colleague, what it means is we are all serving together. So there is no that boss, superior, subordinate relationship. No. We use an appreciative leadership style where we appreciate everybody as part of the team, that everybody has some value to bring to bear, using inspiration, using inclusivity. I use inclusivity. I include everybody in every move, every engagement with clients, every conversation or team strategic meetings. We bring everybody's view on board, because once you create that safe working environment and everybody feels safe that I am appreciated, even though I may not know as much as my boss, he or she has seen something in me. So they become very confident to add value to the table. And come to think of it, Coach Sarah, at the end of the day, it's about what results do you produce. You can't produce results all by yourself. You need people to help you drive to get the results. And how do you handle those people in a manner that they want to give their best? That's the kind of philosophy I have about leadership.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is so inspiring that roles and titles doesn't matter in Gabi and Gabi. You are all equal, co-creating the results that you are looking for. Wonderful. But tell us about maybe, yes, you talked about your boss, but you working with your teammates and your colleagues, I will refer to them as colleagues. What could be something that an encounter that was really stood out, that a story that you can share with us in this leadership journey?
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. I smiled because I have a very recent encounter. Just yesterday was Friday.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, I went on a meeting and I met
Mm.
the head of operations for uh, Back Africa. So I
Uh-huh.
was having a conversation with her, and she mentioned, "Oh, we had a conversation with someone who says he works with you." And I'm like, okay, I have a lot of people on a lot of co-workers. And she was like, yeah. And he says, you're a very tough lady. Say, my madam is very strict and very tough. But when you listen to her, you'll never be the same. Your work life will change. I was like, really? So I just smiled over it. So yesterday I called my colleague who passed that comment, and I asked, Moses. I said, Moses. He said, yes, madam. I said, how are you today? And he was like, oh, I'm fine. I said, Moses, so what did you say about me being tough? He said, madam, you know it's true. You are very strict when it comes to work. He said, but you are the kindest person I've met, because you don't joke with your job, but you add value. So you have helped me to
Okay, I believe we are having some challenges with the network. So as we wait for Lizzy-Ann to come back on the call, I will just announce some of you who are on the call with us today. Nasiru, you are joining us from Ghana. Great to have you here. And Elom, Abinata Elom, also from Ghana. Great to have you. Rita Ajololo, today looks like the Ghanaian day. Rita Ajololo, also from Ghana. And Sapa Yahaya, also from Ghana. Justice Annan, also from Ghana. So as I just want to welcome all of you and to all our viewers, as Lizzie shares with us, please put into the chat box your questions for her or your comments. We will really appreciate that. Welcome back, Lizzy-Ann. And you were
thank you,
telling
ma'am.
us the
Sorry, I lost you. I was
encounter with,
telling you about my colleague's story. So he said,
yes.
you've helped me to have an eye for details, because I pick up a policy and I can just fish out exactly what needs to be done. And I'm like, I'm glad you created a balance. So In the discharge of my duty, I am very interested in high quality delivery, because if we have clients to serve, then we must bring all the level of seriousness to bear and serve them in a manner that they would want to keep you and recommend you. So I believe in growing along with my team using an appreciative approach. I'm stressing on appreciative approach because that is the hallmark of our culture in Gamey and Gamey. We don't use the SWOT in analyzing people and situations. We use SOAR. So we don't look at your strengths and your weaknesses, your opportunities and the threats. We don't use that. I use the SOAR. What are your strengths? What are the opportunities that are available to you? What are your aspirations? So instead of threats, we are looking at results. What relevant results can you produce? Who are the people that you need to work with to produce a better result? How else can we add value to ourselves? So in dealing with my team, I use a lot of coaching techniques and questioning. So I do less talking and more listening, because I create a platform where every encounter, every conversation, every engagement, every meeting becomes a brainstorming session. So everybody leaves the room with some level of ownership, because we all brought our ideas, we co created whatever decision or actions that need to be taken.
Wow, wow, wow. Coach Lizzy-Ann, you're really blowing my mind here. Here we are. I've heard so many things, the values that really come out from you as a person, and also the philosophy as well as the culture that you have in Gambi and Gambi. The values that I've picked up, you talk about teamwork, you talk
Yeah.
about appreciative, what did you say? Appreciative leadership.
Appreciative leadership.
Leadership. You talked about, I've talked about teamwork already. And then you talk about looking at SOAR instead of SWOTs. That is the strengths and opportunities, aspirations. And what is the R? I didn't get the R. So that
Relevant results.
relevant results. So relevant results. So that is the way that Lizzy-Ann really works with her team. And you've talked so much about the team, you know, building them up, you being a role model for them. That this gentleman that mentioned something about you saying, you have taught me how to look for the details. And you talked about your boss, who was also a role model for you.
And
So
still is.
he still is, who is a role model for you. And the fact that his value of valuing other people, calling them colleagues. So I can see this culture of inclusiveness that comes out in Gambia and Gambia. It must be a beautiful place to work with, place to work. Would you employ me if I come? I'm just,
Coach Sarah, you are too big.
oh, that is wonderful. Okay. But Lizzy-Ann, tell me, you are also a mother and you are the deputy CEO. What are some of the challenges as a woman in such a high ranking position? What are some of the challenges that you see in your role as a mother and also your role as CEO?
Thank you so much, Coach Sarah. That's a very relevant question. And I would want to dove my heart and say kudos to every working mother. And a very big one to men who support their wives, because not every man would like to support your wife to get to a certain level. So that I want to establish first. It's not fun being a mom and a career woman. And you have to be intentional, very intentional about creating a balance. because you have a family to serve and you have a job to deliver service and produce results. These two are very crucial. But how do I, as a person, and you also have your life to maintain, how do I create a balance around all of this? That is where self-mastery comes into play. At the initial stages of my career, when I had a comeback after my baby making, I found it very difficult to settle in. A lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and it was getting into me to a point where I had a very terrible ulcer because I was always under stress. Then I had another encounter. That was another phase in my life where I got another bigger encounter with Lizzy-Ann. And that was my turning point in my life. And to the glory of God, I can tell you for the past how many years, I don't know or have that thing called stress in my dictionary, my personal dictionary, no. Because I became intentional about protecting myself emotionally, mentally, and health-wise, serving my family in the best capacity, and delivering at work. And it's a lot of work, a lot of intentionality. When I am home, I am fully present at home. When I am at work, I am 500% present at work. And I have my me time. When it is my me time, I am 1 million times present with me. So creating that balance is what I think every working mother, and not just for women, especially top leaders, you need to be able to prioritize you, to be able to deliver results to every aspect of you, whether family, whether work, whether time with you or your relationship with God. How much time do I allocate for everyone? And when you are allocating, it's time for this, you must be fully present there. Pause every other and make sure that you make time to refresh. What are the things that make you find you? Your personal affirmations to help you become emotionally stable. And I have what I call, that my coach taught me to, what I call the joy therapy. I don't joke with my joy therapy. I don't. That's what gives me life. Every morning, I take my joy therapy. Anytime I'm confronted with a very tough situation, I take double dose or triple dose of my joy therapy. And that fixes me to give my best to my family, to give my best to work, and most importantly, to give my very best to me and my God.
Thank you. Thank you. I can see Uncle Sam has joined us. Coach Sam, I guess definitely you do have some questions for Lizzy-Ann. So please join us with your comments and questions for Lizzy-Ann, if you can hear us.
Thank you so much, Sarah. My network has been very crazy. So can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. So please,
Wonderful.
yes.
So I thank you so much, Lizzy-Ann, for letting us into your life. A few times you have talked about encounter with Lizzy-Ann.
Three
And
times.
at the end of each of that, it seems to have moved you to another level. Would you want to throw a bit more light, because a lot of people are going through things, and how they handle those challenges in life is sometimes complicated. Would you want to throw a bit more light on how these encounters with yourself are, and how you processed these encounters, and what lessons those of us going through some of these encounters can learn from? Anything, I mean, any aspect you want to share, so that we can learn from you.
Thank you, Coach. So, what do I mean by self-encounter? I live a very reflective life. So, with every challenge that I'm confronted with, or every phase of my life, I don't have problems. I always teach people to be mindful on the use of language. I'm a Pulse trainer. Pulse is people using language skills effectively. And you and Coach Sarah know that the use of words and the use of language has a very huge impact on your mindset, worldview, behavior, mood, and all of that. So, and especially on your perspectives. So, when you see something as a problem, automatically a negative energy is triggered. So, you look at all the why am I here? Why is it not working? And all the time. But when you see phases of your life, I call it phases because I see life as a journey. It's like going to school. For every class, there are different levels of challenges. We don't call those challenges problems. It's part of the examinations of life to determine whether you are fit to move to the next level. So, in those phases of lives, I view every challenge at every phase of my life, every problem as a challenge that requires some level of new knowledge, that requires a change in perspective or a change in behavior, and to be able to move beyond it. And that is where the self-mastery comes in. Because in that mood of reflecting on what has brought me here, and what is it about this particular situation, about this particular circumstance, about this particular decision that needs to be made, about this health challenge, or about this relationship challenge, through using positive questions. Let me be very open with you. At some level in my life, I was very not generous with me. So until I got an encounter with me, and that brings the encounter again, where I got to know that, hey, this young lady, Lizzy-Ann, is a gift of God to herself first, before to her family and to her workplace and to the world. So if Lizzy-Ann is a gift of God to Lizzy-Ann, then how would you want to handle, respect, cherish, celebrate, and deal with Lizzy-Ann with some level of compassion, with some love, with some appreciation? So those are the encounters. So when I got to that point where I realized that I was a gift of God to me first, then I realized I have been living in error and I have not been following biblical principles. Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. So if I love others, I love my job, I love my family more than myself, then I have breached the very foundation of Jesus's manifestation of love in the world. So I started intentionally seeing, how can I fall in love with me? I took time, and I'm not talking about, this is not just a talk show talk. I'm sharing with you real stuffs. I took time to get to discover me, and those became my breaking points to other levels. Who am I? How much time do I spend with me? How much do I know about myself? And then I realized it is not the things that happened to me, but how I reacted to the things that happened to me that really affected my life, my mindset, and my growth, just like Epictetus said. Then I realized that no, I need to focus more on me. If I want to be the best and make the most impact, then I have to start working on me first. How much do I know about me? How much do I appreciate me? The little things, waking up in the morning, sorting out the home, fixing breakfast, doing school rounds, that is work. Most times as women and as leaders and as parents and as workers, we don't appreciate it. Oh, it's just the normal things I do. It is not normal because there are people who don't do it. I wake up, I go to work on time. I hold meetings, I deliver services to clients. It is not normal. I have to appreciate me for doing what I am doing and celebrating me. But most importantly, the best part of the encounters is acknowledging my emotions.
Okay.
Acknowledging my emotions and mediating my internal differences.
I
Because
think the network
Sam,
is.
on your side,
Sarah,
but
is it only me or is
it's your network. We can hear Lizzie very well. We can hear Lizzie very well. It's
yeah,
your
so
net.
acknowledging my emotions,
are
not
you
suppressing
also
it.
experiencing?
No, Sam, we are okay on our side. We are okay. Let me
Oh,
just
okay.
type this.
All right,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. So, Lizzy-Ann, please go on. Emotions. You're talking about the emotions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
acknowledging my emotions
So,
and
Lizanne, I mean,
listening.
what I've gathered, yes,
Sam, go ahead. Go ahead. I think there's a delay on your side, so you can go ahead. All right. Okay. So, Lizzy-Ann, I think Sam will join us. Yeah, he'll join us later on. Okay, so Lizzy-Ann, these are really wonderful key points about the encounter with yourself. What maybe you could add is how long does this process go through? And is it an ongoing process? Just to share on that. And as you share on that, someone has also asked to hear more about the joy therapy. So put those two together. Put those two
Whoever
together.
the person is, tell him he needs a coaching, he or she needs a coaching session.
Okay. So we'll let Justice contact you for the coaching session. But
No problem, but I'll throw a bit light on it.
yeah, yeah.
Coach
Please go ahead.
Sarah, I
Yes.
know the question you are asking is just for the audience benefit, but you, Coach Sarah, know that I am still work in progress.
We are all work in progress. Nobody has gotten to where they want to go. But before you answer that, as you were speaking, saying you started with you, being a person of faith, it really takes me back to the wisdom in the Word of God that says that the Great Commission that says that we should start from Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, yeah.
Yes. Then we go to Samaria and Judea, and then we go to Samaria. So as you're speaking, I can see the stages that you start with you, then the inner circle, your inner circle as leaders, the next person, your family or your inner circle, if you're in the workplace, and if you're at home, is the family before you go to the extended family outside. So, stages as leaders, we have to be very conscious about the different environments that we engage with, but first starting with us. That is our
Exactly.
Jerusalem. Yeah. Okay. Thank you
Exactly.
very much. So, please answer the question that I
Yeah,
posed before.
so the journey of self
Yes.
would only end, I don't think it will even end when we transition from this life. It's a continuous journey because I'm also a person of faith. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that the life we live here is just a journey. We are going somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
the impact that we make here is very important in how we reflect in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So I see my work as a platform to render service to God and humanity. And for me to be able to render that kind of service that is required, not doing service for God without call. It's just like when you're in a work environment and you have been engaged for a contract for service to provide a service. You don't go and provide the service your own way. There are SOPs, standard operating procedures, what is expected of you. So even no matter how experienced you are or how knowledgeable you have to work within the confines of the scope of work that has been given to you. The same is reflective for every leader, but most importantly for me. So at every point in time, and that's why I said the journey of self-discovery and self-encounters is an ongoing one. At every point in time, I ask, how well did I serve? And when I get home with family, I ask, Lord, did I serve you in this? Were you glorified in this? It's not about proving a point to people, whether to family or colleague workers or others in the corporate, other leadership in the corporate space. And that is where we miss it. So most people don't enjoy the journey of life, and leadership journey becomes very stressful and competitive. You are not competing with anyone. You work within your space and you acknowledge, that's where acknowledging the information, the emotions come into play. You ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I want to achieve this so much? And as leaders, we bring our emotions and ego into some of the decisions, corporate decisions that we make that affect companies and even affect your colleague workers. So you must be very reflective. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do we want to achieve what we achieve? Strategy and brainstorming session with yourself, the way you engage others. Speak to you. I speak a lot with me, and it's an enjoyable one. The joy
Wow.
therapy is part
Oh,
of
okay. It's
decisions.
part of the joy therapy. Okay. So
I see everybody is interested in the joy therapy.
yes, indeed. But okay, joy therapy aside, you went through the corporate ladder to get to where you are. What are some of the lessons that you have that you want to give to younger people or people who are starting on their journey to get to where you are? Some people are very anxious to get it fast. How long did that take you? What are some of the lessons that you learned on the way? And what are some of the attitudes that will help them to get to the top and stay there or go beyond?
Humility,
Okay,
service,
okay,
resilience,
okay,
emotional intelligence,
okay.
and high level of spirituality. If you want to climb to the top, you need to lean on something. You
Mm-hmm.
choose either side. Just on Thursday, I had a session with a group of leaders, high level leadership of several corporate institutions. And I was sharing with them that, hey, you know where you are sitting. There is always somebody who wants to get you out of your seat, or there is somebody who wants to go beyond you, or there is somebody who wants you to make the seat vacant to sit in. So, whatever practices, whatever rituals, and when I say rituals, I'm not talking about when we say rituals, the first thing that comes to mind is sacrifices and those things. No, ritual is basically what do you do over a period to get a certain result.
Mm-hmm.
For me, joy therapy is one of them. My quiet time is one of them. My me time, I don't joke with those three. So, whatever rituals have gotten you to where you are, constant learning is what you need to keep you there. And Coach Sami shared something with me, and it was very interesting. We laughed over it. But when we got off the line, it rang a bell because a young lady climbing the ladder, the first thing that people ask is, how many people have you slept with? How did you get there? Who connected you? And I had an encounter once. We were in a certain negotiation, and it's interesting who are the people that frustrate women the most. It's we, the women. A
Mm,
lady walked
mm,
up to me and passed a certain comment. Initially, I ignored her, and then she repeated it. So I looked into her face and I smiled, and I said, "It is not everybody that sleeps their way to the top. Some of us, we pray and work our way to wherever we find ourselves. So, whatever got you to where you are, is the same thing that will keep you there. So these things, the humility, acknowledging that I am not the best version of myself, my views are not the ultimate views. There are times when I may be wrong, being open to other views, humble enough to accept that I am work in progress, and servitude, serving. This is a generation, forgive me, but my generation and the young ones coming up, service is something that is out of our dictionary. I told you when I started work at Gamey, the first thing I asked was, I want to serve. You don't have to pay me. I vividly remember when I got home and I told my husband my meeting with Mr. Gamey, he asked me, are you okay? I was like, well, you want to serve, won't you put fuel in your car to go to the place? You want to leave your job just to go and serve and they will not pay you. And I told him, I know how much value I'm looking at. So service. We don't want to serve these days. A lot of people just want results. How much pay can I get? And in your career path, it's not just about the money. You look at the value that is brought to bear in every workspace you want to find yourself. Because money can end, but values are the things that will keep you like a magnet. So even when you are not getting the money, opportunities come to you because you have made yourself a hub, a resource. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Values are the magnet that will keep you. Okay, beautiful. Uncle Sam, since you joined us, over to you. Definitely you do have some questions for
Yes,
Coach Lizzy-Ann.
yes. Unfortunately, my internet is just plain bad, but let me see if I can get this one through. I love the advice to the young ones. Now, I want you to throw a bit more light on the SAW, because we've all known the SWOT, your strength, your weaknesses, threats, and as leaders, and we are trying to groom people out. But I love the SAW that you talked about. I would just want you to just clarify that a bit. I mean, the SOAR and how that is more effective way of getting results, getting the best out of ourselves for others who are on the call.
I think Lizzie is frozen. I think she'll come back. Okay, so whilst we wait for her to join us, I can see some comments. Okay. Yeah, some comments from her leadership saying, excellent delivery. Bless you, madam. And from Mohammed Salima, also from Ghana. And then for the SAW, if I may just reiterate what Lizzy-Ann said, the S is for strengths, the O for the opportunities, the A for aspirations, and the R, she did say relevant results. So when Lizzy-Ann comes back, she will really go into a deeper phase as to how she may be applying the SAW, if I'm not mistaken. So whilst we wait for her, we'll take a commercial break and hopefully she will join us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTO Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there, join the next cohort of CTL Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never be the same.
Welcome back, everyone. And Lizzy-Ann is back with us. Lizzy, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay,
sorry,
perfect.
I had a break in my
It's
connection.
okay. We are used to
It's,
technology. Yeah, it's not your fault. We have to live with it and adapt as we go along. All right. So, Sam, over to you. I think you were asking some questions.
all right. So, listen, my last question was on the SAW, and I just wanted you to throw a bit more light on the SAW and how that can empower us as leaders.
Thank you, Coach Sam. So SAW, like I said, is just an acronym. It's a strategic inquiry with an appreciative intent. And we use SAW for strategic meetings. We use SAW for management meetings. We use SAW for team meetings. I use SAW for coaching. You can even use SAW to engage in your family conversations. What is SAW? And I mentioned appreciative intent. Appreciative inquiry is basically about what are you doing well and how can you add value to make it better. So in using an appreciative intent, using the SAW, you ask yourselves, what are my strengths? What are my greatest assets? If it's an institution, what is our greatest asset? But I would like to limit it to the individual. So in your self-engagement, you ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my greatest assets? What is the knowledge that is available to me? What are the resources that are available to me? And then you move to the opportunities. You ask yourself questions like, what are the best possible opportunities available to me? In line with what I want to do, how much result I want to get, where I want to see myself. And then your aspirations. What is my preferred future? Because remember, we have a responsibility and owe it to ourselves first, before to our families and the workplace, to co-create and work our destinies out to become a true reality. So for you to manifest as a leader, or for you to manifest as someone who is successful, you should have a preferred future. That's where your personal visioning comes into place. And your personal leadership also plays a big role in this. Leading yourself first, strategizing your own personal goals. What is your preferred future? And then the R has to do with the relevant results. Coach Sam, as you and I know you're also a corporate trainer. Not every result is relevant at the workplace, on the personal level, and even at the family level. Some results are not relevant to the times or the seasons. Okay, so what are the measurable results that I can use to say A, B, C, D are the things that can make me know that I have been able to achieve my goals? And for you to get there, to make the SAW a real beneficial to you, you need an appreciative strategy. I use appreciative a lot. You two are coaches, so you know why I use appreciative. Because growth, whether personal, whether leadership, whether family or marriage or relationship, growth is intentional. It has to be planned. And you need to transition people from a loss frame into a gain space, a positive space, where they are able to brainstorm and their creative abilities come alive. So that's why we use the appreciative strategy. But when you use weakness, immediately I point out, Uncle Sammy, you are a very nice man, but this and these are your weak points. Automatically, there's some negative feeling that is triggered. So you ask, the question is, I should ask myself, is there anything good in Uncle Sammy, yes, if there's anything good, talk about it. What about the areas for enhancement? If you notice my use of language, I'm not saying what are his weaknesses, because whatever we term or people call weakness is an area for enhancement. Why is it an area for enhancement? Because you're on life's journey, you're on professional journey, you're on a leadership journey. And whatever others or people or academia term as weakness is a transition point, a state, a character, a behavior, a position that you need to transition from. So it becomes an area for enhancement rather than your weakness. And that's where the appreciative comes in. So if I start with the things that are doing well, then I have sparked a positive energy. Then we can now transition. You are doing well in A, B, C, D, but I believe you can do better in 1, 2, 3. So the feedback, not criticism. We use, this is an objective criticism. Can you talk about why not feedback? Because with feedback, I'm just reflecting back to you what I see. And then I'll give you notes and recommendations on what can be done better, rather than objectively criticizing you. So I want you to grow. I want you to transition to a better state. So I am providing feedback for you to reflect what you can do better, not what you are not doing well. And remember, it is work. And that's where leadership, high quality leadership comes into play. These are some of the things I teach leaders. I'm an executive coach and I'm a leadership trainer. So if you want to bring the best out of your people, the best out of your marriage, the best out of your kids, the best out of your organization, then this is the path to take, an appreciative approach. Using the appreciative strategy. What is the appreciative strategy? Coming back to the soul. What are you really established to do? If it's an institutional conversation, or if you are talking to self and you are working on your personal line, you ask yourself, what am I really here for? What do I really want to do? And then you ask the next layer, which is the progressive path. You want to transition yourself because I know what I want to do. But the question is, what am I already doing well? And then where we have the aspirations, you look at your potentials. How possible is it for me to get the best out of myself? If it is with your team, you ask yourself, how possible is it for me to get the best out of my team? If it's your marriage, you ask yourself, how possible is it for me to get the best out of my partner, out of the people that are around me? And then the last one, which has to do with the result. For me to get the kind of result I want, then I'm looking at partnership. So that deals with the T in SWOT. Who are my threats? Who are my competitors? So now we have transitioned. The world of work and leadership has transitioned. Instead of competitors, we are looking at partners or who can we collaborate with. So we've moved from competition to collaboration. We look at who can do what best. Even if you are in a competitive or the same industry, how can I work with others in my industry or others in my team to be able to get the best results? And in that, the partnership level, you are asking yourself, what are they doing well? And how can I learn from what they are doing well to add value to myself to make it better or best? Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lizzy-Ann. This has been
Lizzy-Ann,
great.
I just, if you can hear me,
Yes, I can.
can you hear me?
We
Yes,
can hear you.
Officer, I can hear
Okay,
you.
I just have to test because my network is. I truly love this, and I just want to stay with that just a few more. The reason is this: I work a lot with young people, and anytime you're asking what do they want to do, they start with all the problems, all the reasons why they cannot do these things, the money they don't have, the help they don't have, and so on and so forth. So that's why I love this approach. And the language is very, very important as you are teaching us. So I just want you to speak a bit, and even not even the young people. When we listen to our leaders, political leaders, we can spend 20 hours describing the problem. And when you ask for what are the solutions, how do we go forward, then we are stuck. And that's why I think this approach to life is very important. And I just want to stay with that just a bit. But let me leave my political leaders for now. Ask you to talk to my young people.
The young people.
How important is it that they look at what they can achieve, what they can do for themselves, instead of what they cannot, and so on? Just a little on that for me.
Uncle Sammy, this is a very crucial issue you have raised, because we still find ourselves, including myself, I'm still work in progress, like I told you. We still find ourselves where we are deep in the problem mindset instead of a solution mindset. So we need to bring an appreciative approach to life, relationship, work, and everything that has to do with human engagement and institutions. Let me tell you why I said, including myself, I'm still work in progress. 2 weeks ago, I was in Takoradi, and I was to deliver a speech to a national body. I was to deliver a speech as their labor consultant representing my firm. So I woke up at dawn, put together my note, and I was sharing it with my coach. And when I started to read, I was all excited because I felt I had done a very good job. And we had ministers of state in that program. We had chief directors of various ministries. It was a very big program. So I was going to speak on leadership and the need to transition from being psychotic leaders into appreciative leaders. So I put together my notes. I was sharing with my coach. In the middle of my conversation, my coach says, "Hey, hold on." And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You are bringing on that same thing." And I asked, "What thing?" He said, "The challenge with African leaders and academia." So I became a bit, what challenge? He says, "You are going to meet high-level leadership. The challenge in Africa is, and in most parts of the world, we look at what is not working and we spend 5-10 hours talking about why things haven't worked. Do research into what things are not working. And that's where the West is better than us in certain ways, certain areas of advancement and leadership. For them, they come with challenges or problems with a solution mindset. They look at what didn't work, what worked, how can we add value to what worked to make it best, to the extent that what didn't work is fixed along the way. So that change of mindset, it is only appreciative inquiry that can take us through that. And what is appreciative inquiry? I told you. You appreciatively enter into an inquiry. So in every conversation, whether it's a coaching conversation, whether you are a pastor and you are going to teach teenagers, or you are a corporate trainer, the inquiry is roping the people in to transition them into a solution mindset, where every conversation is more about solutioning. There are times when people will tell you that you are being hypocritical. Don't you see that there's a problem? No, I refuse to see that there's a problem. I choose to look at what is working. If I'm to toe Coach Sarah's line about faith, okay, I'm a lover of God. So if I'm to toe her line and talk a bit about faith, when God in his creation, every single day at the end of the day, the Bible said, and the Lord saw that it was good. And the Lord saw that it was good. So at what point did we start seeing that things were not good? When man came into the picture. So even our spiritual journey, we must be intentional about transitioning from that problem mindset into good. So I don't have money. What else do I have to start my journey? I told you, when I came to Gamey, I told my old man, you don't have to pay me. So the question was, where was I going to get money to take care of myself and my family? I have seen something I want. I have seen a path I want to grow in. There has to be some level of investment and sacrifice. That is something we don't find these days. Everybody wants money for something. So I want you to pay me. You get an entry level worker who comes in. They don't want to deliver, but the following month or the following year, they're asking you for increments. So the question you ask yourself, if you want to grow as a leader, or you are a young person, you want to grow in career or grow to a certain level, let not your focus be on the position. Let your focus be on the process that will get you there. Let not your focus be on the gains, because it is the value that you bear, the value that you carry, the value that you bring to the table. It is your value that calls for the money. It is not your lobbying. It is not your tactics, because your value is your resource. That's what nobody can take away from you. The knowledge that you have is just knowledge. The wisdom part of your knowledge. How do I make the knowledge that I have beneficial to humanity, beneficial to my family, beneficial to my company? So when we come from that value base with a solution mindset, then we can see high quality leaders, even youths who are interested in adding value. So we need, like you are saying, Coach Sami, we need to invest in the youth. A lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring, a lot of mindset transformation. But the challenge is, how equipped are the leaders? And when I talk about leaders, I'm not just talking corporate, in society, in the family. How equipped are we to transition these young people into a value-based philosophy where we don't talk them down? You find a lot of parents talking down even on their kids, and they bring it to the workplace. Oh, you are not good. Oh, you are good for nothing. Oh, you cannot deliver. Nothing can come out of you. It is seed. Words are seeds. You are planting seeds of doubt, of complexes into their mindset. So they grow up, because those are all the things that they have heard over the years. They also manifest those things. So there's a call on all of us, wherever space you find yourself, say something good to someone, speak a positive word, try to change the mindset.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. But Lizzy-Ann, one thing that I wanted you to repeat again is the pulse. You did talk about positive usage of language.
People using language skills effectively.
Effectively. Okay, perfect. And I think this is exactly what you have been hammering on, for us to really use the language in a positive way, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As we are speaking, yes, I did
Yeah,
see
but
you were talking
Sarah,
about.
just sorry, Sarah. Before you move on, let me, because it's like you were reading my mind. That's exactly what I wanted to ask Lizzy-Ann, to just, for the purpose of our people who are listening, you and I know this, but just to throw a bit more light on that acronym and what it means and how they can apply it, and then I will leave to Sarah to conclude. The pause.
Yeah, the pulse. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so let me see. There was someone a Facebook user, I don't know the name, but I think I will ask. He's saying, I'm looking for a mentorship program as I also continue working on myself to become an
I
accountant.
love that. Working
Yeah,
on myself.
exactly. I'm looking for someone I can be assistant in the field of accounting so that I can quickly gain experiences as I write my ICAC exams to become a certified public accountant. It may be in the form of a personal assistance or part-time internship because I am working. Just that it's not revolving so much about accounting. I can provide more details in private. Thank you. So I'll ask Facebook user to contact CTL Africa to put you in touch. in our network for this mentorship opportunity that you're looking for. And I love the fact that you are asking to be of service, just like Lizzy-Ann started off with Gamby and Gamby. Beautiful. I'm looking through the chat to see whether there are questions for Lizzy because our time is far spent. Let me see. I don't see any more questions. Comments saying great value is your value is your resource that Lizzy mentioned. And then P for the people using language. Now I've forgotten the S. My mind has gone blank.
Yes.
Skills effectively.
People
Skills
using
effectively.
language skills
Effectively. And for Facebook user, CTL, the leadership platform has put a WhatsApp number. It's +233-55666-7718. Reach out to CTL Africa for your mentorship request. Okay, Sam, are there any questions you want to ask Lizzy-Ann before we ask her to give her parting words? I have a question.
No, I think this has been beautiful. God.
Okay, wonderful. Lizzy-Ann, thank you so much. I think that one of the key things that I'm taking away is the fact that as leaders, listening, you did talk about listening a lot, asking questions, powerful questions, and also taking the coaching approach as well as the appreciative approach. And before you round off, using the word "saw," how can you sum up what is next for you using "saw"?
Coach Sarah, you know I have outstanding with you. Uncle Sam and your audience, immediately I came on the call. I wasn't expecting Coach Sarah. And I saw Coach Sarah, my heart started thumping. Oh my God. Apparently, I had done a John C. Maxwell program with Coach Sarah, and I was supposed to roll out on some trainings for people using leadership. And that was about almost a year ago. So I saw Coach Sarah, and I'm like, oh my God. So as part of the SAW for me, I'm going to work on your project.
No, you can use your appearance. You can use your appearance on the leadership platform to satisfy that one. You have done
exactly.
So Coach Sarah doesn't take that. Like myself, she's very serious with her results, and she really took me through a drill. And as part of my closing remarks, that is one of the things that I value most. I value learning. And learning is not just in the classroom. Everybody that you come across, you learn from. I learn from my kids. I still learn from my parent. My dad, even at this stage, calls me and tells you, you have to do this, you have to do that. Having a listening ear and a humble spirit, it can take you to places because you realize that you can never reach your full potential when you stop growing. So every level of success is another platform for growth to the next level. So I am still learning. I am still, even though I'm a coach, I coach leaders. I coach leaders in the public service, African public service, with the African Leadership University in Rwanda. I train leaders, but I still learn because the journey of life, the journey of your professional journey, your marriage journey, is a journey of learning. You never fully become until you are. And you can only be when you continue to reinvent yourself through reflection, using the SAW, using positive language for yourself first, because you can only be very kind and intentional in your conversation with others when you are with yourself. So being using positive language, your positive words with myself, and then I translate the same to others. Remember, like John C. Maxwell once said, he said, hurt people always hurt other people. There are a lot of philosophers and great men who have spoken about how we treat ourselves is a true direct reflection of how, as leaders, we would treat and handle other people. And your spiritual journey is part of you. Remember, your reasoning, your being, the being part of you, being a human, knowing that you have limitations, that you always need to work on yourself to add value. And that can only be fixed by divine intervention when you live in a life of total surrender, surrendering self, surrendering ego instead of humility over power, challenges over problems, and faith, believing that all is not lost until you get there. So once you hold on to these things, I believe the journey of leadership, whether leadership with yourself, family, organizations, will be an enjoyable one. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lizzy-Ann. This has been really, really great. And for me, I'm going to re-listen to the recording because there's so much in there that I still need to reflect. You talk a lot about reflect, and absorb for my continuous learning. It's been a pleasure having you. Great. Thank you. Uncle
Thank you
Sam?
for having me.
Yeah. Uncle Sam, what do you say to Lizzie before we give the announcements?
Lizzie, thank you so very much. I know that by the time I called you, you you had a full calendar, but you said one thing, and you said you want to do this as your birthday gift for me,
Happy birthday, Uncle
and
Sam.
you've done
Happy
more
birthday,
than.
Uncle Sam. If I
So,
was waiting to say
so
that. Thank
this
you.
is a
We
gift. This is
celebrate
the
you.
best. This is the best gift I have for what you have done. Thank you so very
Uncle
much,
Sam, we
Lizzy-Ann,
love you. We
and God
celebrate
bless
you. On
you.
behalf of ICF Ghana, let me just quickly take this opportunity and wish you a very happy birthday. Coach Sarah, Uncle Sam is one of the board members of International Coaching Federation Ghana
I
chapter, and he's
know,
an
I
awesome
know.
leader. Most of the things I've shared are things that he's already doing, and I really look up to him. Uncle Sam, we love you, we celebrate you, and thank you for having me. Happy 60th birthday.
Thank
We
you,
are
thank
waiting
you,
for the
thank you, thank
party.
you. I'm making my head big. The
You
party is
are
coming
big.
on. Don't worry. Yes,
So
it's coming
thank you
on.
so
Thank you
much.
so very much, and God bless you. Just
God
God
stay
bless
bless
for
you
us
too.
for 2 minutes, but as we wind down. Thank you so
you.
much. Joy,
Thank you
over to
so
you.
much. Yeah. Okay. So it's been great having all of you on the call. And as Coach Lizzy-Ann did mention to you, last on the 6th of November, we celebrated the 60th birthday of the host for this platform. And on behalf of all of us, I want to wish him a happy 60th birthday for the way he's been impacting the leadership platform and the nation at large. So, Uncle Sam, happy birthday. And now for the announcements. Next week, the book that we have for the leaders, our readers, is The Richest Man in Babylon. So please get a copy. If you don't have a copy, reach out to CTL Africa to find out how you can get a copy and read along with us as we all learn to be financially literate. Now, also, we do have the growth journey that is starting. There are a few spaces left, so please register and get on the list or join the cohort, the next cohort for the growth journey. And you can see on the screen the link for you to join the growth journey. A few spaces that are left. And as Lizzy-Ann shared with us, continuous learning is really key to our leadership. So take this advantage. Last but not the least is the fact that if you want any corporate training and coaching to get to the next level that you seek, your aspiration, the soar in which Lizzy-Ann shared with us, reach out to CTL Africa. We have different programs that will help you achieve your aspirations so you can get your relevant results. So this is all for us from this leadership platform this week. It's been a pleasure being your host, replacing Sam and Joy, who will join us next week on the leadership platform to host the space. Until then, and as Uncle Sam always says, go to church tomorrow, and we'll see you again next Saturday. Good night, everyone. Good night.
I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTL Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there, join the next cohort of CTL Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never